Those who have let you down the most are not unfamiliar faces. They are the ones who promised to stand by your side forever. Your friends, your family, those you entrusted with your deepest faith, your whole heart, your vulnerabilities. The hurt didn't originate from the outside. It came from those closest to you. And that is precisely what stings the most. Have you realized that the higher your expectations for someone are, the greater your disappointment when they fail you? That the more you offer, the less it seems to matter? Here's the harsh truth that many struggle to accept. It's not that they are intentionally cruel. It's that your expectations were too high. We're caught in a fantasy. We grow up believing that familial ties are unbreakable, friendships last forever, and that love given will be love returned. But this is merely a delusion. Schopenhauer bluntly stated that humans are inherently selfish, not out of malice, but because self-preservation is their primary concern. This realization can alter your entire perspective. Consider how often you've been neglected just when you needed support the most. How many times have you shattered into pieces while propping up someone who wouldn't do the same for you? How often have you mistaken usefulness for affection? We assume that if people stay, it's because they care. Yet, in truth, many remain only as long as you serve a purpose to them, and they vanish when you no longer do, without a backward glance. The issue isn't them. It's your expectations. It's that unspoken contract you believed in without their knowledge. You thought they'd be there for you because you were there for them. But remember, there are no guarantees with the human heart. There is no emotional justice, no assured reciprocity. Still, you cling to illusions, waiting for messages that never arrive, for calls that are never made, for words that remain unspoken. You cling to memories as if they were promises. But memories are merely echoes of what once was, not assurances of what will be. Schopenhauer presented a poignant metaphor: the hedgehog's dilemma. Two hedgehogs in winter, seeking warmth. If they get too close, they prick each other with their spines. If they stay too far apart, they freeze. Human relationships are similar. Getting close can be painful. Drifting apart can feel devastatingly lonely. So, what's the solution? Finding the right distance, not one of blind passion or complete detachment, but one of prudence, of clarity. And that clarity begins with one decision: lower your expectations, not as a sign of defeat, but as a declaration of strength. The person who expects the least is the least disappointed, and the least disappointed person lives more freely. Emotional self-reliance isn't about being cold. It's about self-protection. It's realizing no one is obligated to rescue you, and thus learning to rescue yourself. It's about stopping the practice of handing over the control of your peace to others. It means you can love without dependency, care without desperation, share without losing yourself. Society has sold us a perilous myth that happiness is found in others, in a tribe, a partner, a circle, a family. Yet, no one warned you that these same people could be the source of your deepest pain. that your connections can also become your shackles. Have you ever felt the need to distance yourself from someone who causes you pain, but felt you couldn't because they are family? Guilt binds you, obligation binds you, shared history binds you. But blood alone is not enough reason to endure suffering. True connections are not imposed, they are built. And if they aren't built, they naturally disintegrate. It's time to view relationships not as sacred sanctuaries, but as natural, temporary, and fallible human interactions. Stop idealizing, stop expecting what you would give, because that is where most of the pain originates, from comparing what you give, what you receive. And no, the answer isn't to become cynical or to stop loving. It's about loving wisely, giving without indebting yourself, wanting without self-destruction. When you accept that human nature isn't evil but selfish, you begin to see the dynamics clearly and can protect yourself. Consider all the times someone has walked away without an explanation. It was painful, yes, but would it have hurt as much if you hadn't expected anything? Expectation is the root of disappointment. Learn to observe, to read beyond mere words. People may not always say what they think, but their actions invariably reflect their interests. And this isn't something to despise, but to understand. In this understanding lies your liberation. Most of your emotional wounds stem not from abandonment, but from attachment, not from rejection, but from the illusions you've constructed around someone. We idealize, we create mental images of people, and when they fail to match these images, we feel betrayed. Yet, in truth, they were always just being themselves, the versions you didn't want to see. Acknowledging this is painful because it means recognizing that the responsibility for our pain lies not only externally, but within ourselves, that we allowed ourselves to be broken, that each disappointment was a lesson we chose to ignore until it was too late. However, this realization is also freeing because if the pain originated from expectation, then you can heal by altering how you expect, or better yet, by ceasing to expect at all. True peace begins when you understand that you owe nothing to anyone, and no one owes you anything. Affection is a choice, not an obligation, and gratitude doesn't always return. You can give without receiving, and that's okay because your actions were true to your values, not transactions. Do you seek peace? Then stop seeking emotional repayment. Do it for yourself. If others respond, great. If not, that's fine too, because your actions don't define you if they're performed in anticipation of a return. They define you if they reflect who you truly are. Human selfishness isn't an adversary to combat. It's a reality to accept. People love based on their deficiencies, give based on their needs, and act based on their interests. This doesn't make them monsters. It makes them human, just like you, because you too have stopped calling when you no longer needed someone. You too have forgotten someone who once supported you. We are all the villains in someone else's narrative, and when you grasp this, when you truly understand it, you rid yourself of resentment, recognizing that no one is here to meet your expectations. and you're not here to satisfy anyone else's. You don't have to be the perfect child, the ideal friend, or the dream partner. You just need to be true to yourself. That's the relationship you need to nurture. Schopenhauer said life is suffering, and suffering stems from desire. When you cease desiring others to love you the way you want, you start to see love for what it really is, a fleeting miracle, not an everlasting guarantee. Then shift your focus. Don't seek someone to fill your void, fill it yourself. Don't look for someone to save you from pain. Learn to manage it. Don't search for unwavering loyalty. Seek consistency. And if a relationship ceases to enrich you, have the courage to let it go, even if it's painful, because the agony of truth is always more bearable than the burden of emotional falsehoods. What remains if you stop expecting from others? You remain. Finally, you, with your silences, your voids, your scars, but also with your strength, your clarity, your peace, because in emotional self-sufficiency lies a power that no one can strip from you. Control of your reactions, your decisions, your serenity. The world won't pause to mend you. No one will come to lift you from the ground, but you can choose not to drag yourself through affections that falter. Look around. Examine closely. How many of your current relationships exist merely out of habit? How many persist only because you exert effort? How many would endure if you ceased making concessions? The answers may be painful, but they will also awaken you. Don't idealize. Don't dramatize. Don't plead. Observe, understand, and act. Because freedom doesn't arrive when everyone adores you. It arrives when you no longer need their adoration. And here's the ultimate revelation, the true enigma of existence. When you no longer require others to appreciate you, that's when they begin to appreciate you most. Because self-sufficiency is alluring. Peace is appealing. Those who don't demand captivate. Those who don't pursue spark curiosity. Those who don't cling soar. And soaring is the art of living without sinking into anyone else. Except that not everyone cares about you. Sometimes, not even those who promised they always would. And yet, you can still be okay. You can still find peace, because it was never their role to support you. It was always yours, and now you understand. So don't mourn what you didn't receive. Be thankful for what you gave, because that remains yours. What you offer from your authenticity, no one can take from you. Don't expect. Don't idealize. Don't deceive yourself. Observe, understand, and liberate yourself. Reality is harsh, but it's yours. And only when you embrace it does true peace commence. And if you've already accepted that no one is obligated to rescue you, now you must confront the next challenge. What will you do with that fundamental solitude? Because yes, what follows the abandonment of expectations is a void, an unsettling silence that many mistake for defeat. But it isn't. Against an invisible ideal, you waste energy that could be better spent truly discovering yourself. Now, let's discuss the silent applause you anticipate every time you achieve something noteworthy. You don't express it, but you feel it. Part of you longs for someone to notice, to say, "You did well. I'm proud of you. You're worthy." And when that acknowledgement doesn't materialize, doubt creeps in. Was it truly sufficient? And there, once more, you fall into the trap, seeking externally what you should have cultivated internally. External validation is addictive, and like any addiction, it provides temporary relief, but soon leaves you craving more, increasingly dependent on others' recognition, on likes, on compliments, on the words that affirm you and simultaneously weaken you. Because the reality is, every time you need someone to confirm your worth, you're relinquishing power. You're declaring, "I'm unsure of my value, reassure me." And this leaves you vulnerable. It makes you dependent. It renders you fragile. That's why Schopenhauer advocated for the solitary path of the wise, not out of disdain for others, but out of respect for oneself. Because as long as your well-being hinges on others' opinions, you'll perpetually be at war, always, even if you smile, even if you feign control. Emotional maturity isn't achieved by learning to interact with others. It's realized when you learn to be content without anyone, not as punishment, but as a choice, because you recognize that you are your own center, and from that center, you can construct anything. But if your center lies outside, in the hands of others, any disturbance will topple them, and your foundation will crumble with them.